And of course, I would never suggest you wiring this up hot. Make sure your breaker's off. I know this isn't even attached to an electrical breaker, so I'm fine. And so I don't even have to cut these any, but just for the sake of argument, I'm going to make these all the same length. I don't necessarily have to, but you know. And by code, you're supposed to have about 6 inches coming out of the box. How much do I have here? Look at that, 6.5. And lots of times I'll cheat it if I have, you know, a lot of wire in the box or something. Okay. Remember, that's going to go like that, and I'm going to strip this back. I've got my wire strippers here. And there's different holes on the back of your wire strip, and you look at them, and it will say 10, 12, 14, 16. You look for the associated, you would look for 14, you know, for your ones. And because I'm going to hook it into the back, I don't want it to stick out much. Okay. I haven't done this for a while. But hopefully I don't strip it too far. I don't want the copper to show too much on the back, you know. And on the ground, I got to put a loop in it. So I've got holes here, on here, and so I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna hold it in there about 3/16 and just roll it over. Okay. That. And now I can go ahead and put that on my screw here. Okay. Usually I put these in on the wall, not on the floor, you know, so I'm trying to figure out which would be the easiest way to put that on. There's a little nib on there. Okay, then I'm going to take this and kind of bend it around and hold it tight. Screw this down. Okay. Get my ground wire attached. Okay. There. Now I know the white wire is going to go on the silver side. I'm just going to take that and push it in. Look at that. Take my black wire and push it in. Perfect. Kaboom. Pull on it. It can't come out. And if you ever, like I say, if you were ever replacing this, you would have to cut the wire back about in here somewhere. And then if you want to reuse this electrical outlet for any unknown reason, you grab the tip of this with a pair of pliers and kind of hang on to it and twist it back and forth. I've gotten them out like that before. Okay. So now I want it in the box, and I'm just going to kind of finagle it back and forth like that and get it down in there. And I know I got plenty of room. And I like to do this by hand. I don't like to get my power battery operated drill out and do this, because you could over tighten it and strip the screw out of the plastic threads. Or this box is easy because there's only one set of wires in there. Some boxes I've done it as many as 4 or 5 wires in an electrical outlet before, if I'm adding an outlet somewhere and I'm taking a box apart, there's 3 wires and I'm adding another one, let's say, that's 4 wires, and you got to put a pigtail in there. And you got 5 wires together over a wire, some wire nuts and stuff, trying to get all that back in the box. And you want to make sure you can push this all the way down before you tighten it up, because you're not going to just sink it down in there, okay, because it could be hitting on the back side. All right, so this one's relatively simple Simon. Just splitting the difference on that screw, because you can, it slides both ways. I'm just lining it, kind of lining it up where the notch is. Just make it snug. I don't have to do it, I don't have to over tighten it or anything. Okay? And before I put this cover plate on, actually, let's just see how well this cover plate's gonna work. I got a hard plastic one, and see, this is gonna kind of sink right down in there. That's good. That'll be nice, like that. But before I do that, so I wasn't sure if that was gonna push down all the way. If it wasn't, I could loosen up a screw a little bit and then tighten this down, push that down, have that all flush. Last thing you want is to have this cover plate up and your plug down. So can you see, if I were to cut those tabs, I would have pushed it down inside the box even further. But that's gonna be nice. I'm gonna keep the screw out here. I had a vinyl cover plate too, and that you can suck down even further if you can't get it all the way with the hard plastic one, because you tighten it too much, you could crack this. The vinyl one you can push down all day long and suck it down, whatever. And because it's, I call it vinyl, it's durable nylon, is what it says. It's designed not to crack right there. But I don't think I'm going to have to use that. When I was kind of on the fence, wasn't sure if I was going to use the nylon one or the hard plastic one, because when I got all done, then remember, I've got to slide the couch section over that, and I didn't want to put too much pressure on here and snap this, but you know, I think it's going to be fine. I'll put some masking tape over it and everything. But like I say, before I put that, now I've got to fix the carpet right in here. You weren't with me then. I drilled a hole there. I was going to have this box over right there. And as I was drilling, I drilled right into the top of the floor joist down below. I mean, I could drill 90 holes in this whole entire floor and never hit a floor joist again. But on this particular one, I got lucky. And so I had to move the box over a little bit to be off of the TGI joist. And I saved the little carpet piece. And I've got, here's the piece of carpet that came out, and I saved that, and I can take some little strands off it if I need to, you know, on the edge, and poke in there. And I've got some little frayed pieces here from when I trimmed the carpet. And I noticed right here, because initially I cut a line and I cut a line. And before I realized, what I should have done was mark that out and then just done one little hole, cut 2 notches, let's say, pulled it back, drilled a hole, and all that. That way if I had to move it, I could just flop it back, but I didn't. Okay, so I could see this one a little bit. And so I'm just going to take a couple little pieces of carpet and with some crazy glue gel and put down in there. Okay, so that's it for installing this electrical floor outlet. And the reason why I decided to put a plastic cover on the regular, in a plastic box. This is all going to be underneath the couch. And if it was going to be exposed, then I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done this like this, because I wouldn't want anybody walking on it, breaking the plastic cover, or a nylon one. I would have put a brass cover plate with the box and all that kind of stuff. That was like $35. But because it's underneath the couch, I thought, nothing doing. I'll just do it this way and it will still work. All right, thanks again for joining me. Now just one more thing. See, this is the receptacle I took out of the wall over there that I'm going to reinstall. You look on the back side, and do you see that little square hole there? If you see that, you're like, okay, which wire? Where do I poke the wire? You poke it in the round hole, not the rectangular one. Once you put it in there, if you ever want to pull it out, you would take a little screwdriver and push into that square and push real hard, and then take your finger and pull out, and it releases it. But see, on this one, there's nothing there. And another thing too, these are set up for 15 amp. These are 15 amp receptacles. So if you want to poke it in the back, you have to have 14 gauge wire. It's only big enough to allow 14 gauge wire. They used to have it the hole bigger, so you could put either 12 gauge or 14 gauge wire in there. With 12 gauge wires for a 20 amp circuit, and so lots of times people will still use a 15 amp receptacle on a 20 amp circuit. Sometimes I've seen it done many times, and then you can't just plug into the back. You would then have to wrap it around the back of that screw. Okay, but you know, if I ever ran an electrical outlet on a 20 amp circuit for 12 gauge wire, then it would behoove me to put in a 15 amp electrical receptacle as opposed to a 20. I'd just soon put in a 20 amp style receptacle, you know what I mean? They cost a little bit more at the store, and they have them, so look for them at your favorite hardware store.